Hello everyone, welcome along to this stream. Doing something a little bit different today. We're landing the 787 10 into Kingston, Jamaica with MSFS. We're using the default 787 with the FT Sim sound pack and the custom view set. And we have come from Newark, New York. So we've been flying for about 3 hours. I had a couple of things I needed to get done. And now here we are with about 1 hour 30 minutes, let's say, until we land into Jamaica. Currently tracking, as you can see there, skimming the Bahamas as we go around over the North Atlantic. And we are on the AI co-pilot mode, so we will see how it does. I think it's safe enough to say it will land us on the runway just fine. It's probably also safe to say that it won't fly the approach very well, and it will do things pretty incorrectly, which is why I, have never been a big advocate of using AI, especially for new simmers. I think it doesn't teach them nearly enough, and it's a really it's a bit of a scammy way of flying, but it can be nice every once in a while to take some airplanes out with AI, especially if they're airplanes that we just don't have in payware form. We don't have a payware 787, and the sounds from FT Sim and the fact that I can go to wing views and everything to change from cabin to cockpit and all this stuff with the sound changing is quite a nice touch. So, there are elements to it that make it worthwhile, but, just a bit of fun, really. Just a bit of fun to fire up something like this. We're doing this flight for BVI Virtual, of course, so provided all goes well, we will submit, but if for whatever reason the AI smashes us into the ground, which is also distinctly possible, then we'll obviously ditch it, but hopefully that doesn't happen. So let's see how we do. But I think we might be okay. I think the sound package. Here we go, changing around the airplane. It's a very nice, quiet airplane, 7.8. But the sound package, as with the Airbus A320neo that you get with the sim, does make it a bit more worthwhile. I think the default sounds are not great, so take it how it is. I mean, if you want to know kind of how the AI has done so far on this flight, well, it did the taxi out and take off just fine. It kind of acted like, for those who are around in the FSX pilot days, it kind of acted like that. It did bring the power back and kind of was all over the show and, those kinds of things. But it did an okay job. It flew 250 knots below 10. It doesn't follow speed restrictions on SIDS and stars. It doesn't follow altitude restrictions necessarily on SIDS and stars. So this is not something that you would use ATC on VATSIM with before. someone goes and tries it, because I wouldn't be surprised. Someone, oh well, Declan used it on his channel. I thought, no, this is not how it works. You don't even try. But it's gotten us up to cruise now. Our cruise was supposed to be 38,000. For some reason, AI seems to have a tendency not to be able to hold altitude. So last night when I did a flight, as you probably saw, I uploaded the arrival. We had a cruise of 38,000, and we slowly drifted up. We leveled at 38,000 feet and all was good, but we slowly drifted up to about 39,500 feet by the end of the flight, which was a bit weird. Similar thing seems to be happening on this one, although we're drifting down. So we started out at 38,000 feet, which was all fine, but now we are at 36,908. I'm not sure why. It just seems the AI is just letting the airplane kind of follow its natural trajectory, whether that be to drift up or drift down, and it doesn't seem to be correcting it. So, that is what it is. There's not much I can do. The other thing is we have the ATC problem again, where we can hear the pilot, but we can't hear the responses. We could hear the responses, but at some point along the way they just disappeared. So that seems to be another Microsoft bug. Yeah, another annoying bug. So yeah, this kind of AI and thing experience is a bit memey, to be honest. You just never know really what it's gonna do. You can't go direct to waypoints or look at your waypoints list really, but you can use TFM. So if you load your flight plan like I've done, ATC will follow your plan, and you can use TFM. If I use the next waypoint command, I can see that we're going the right direction. We're going to our next waypoint. You can see with the heading we're going the right way. There we go, going right past Cooperstown apparently. So yeah, you can see we're going the right way, but you don't really get any kind of methodology you can use to check where you're heading next in a list view like Tramp or something. Now I know some people will say, you could use FS Tramp to fly these freeware planes. Well, it doesn't seem to fly them the best, and the problem is I also use Tramp in P3D, so I would have to keep uninstalling and reinstalling Tramp, which is particularly annoying. But the other thing you need to consider is we don't have an auto land gauge like we did for P3D, which means that you would have to do the landing yourself, which may be okay, who knows, but from the little bit of testing I did do, just turning on AI at like 3,000 feet to do the landing didn't work very well. It just didn't seem to pick up where we were at all. So that was just my one piece of testing. Maybe there's a way around that. But either way, AI is doing an alright job on this flight, I would say. Certainly not brilliant, but we're airborne and we're staying airborne. The odd thing is you can see we're leveled out here at 0 feet a minute, really, and just the odd up and down, but we still seem to be drifting down slowly. We're now 36,896 feet. So, not too sure what's up with that. The Mach is okay, I guess. We got a good ground speed. The fuel burn is also wacko on this plane. As you can see, we're burning about 4,500 pounds an hour. I don't believe that's correct. Let's go and have a look, shall we? 787 fuel burn pounds per hour. It's tons. Maybe it is correct. Then this is saying maybe 5,000 an hour. So let's see. I'm looking to see if anyone's got any estimates here. Where the hell? 5,600 kilograms. Apparently. Alexa, what's 5,600 kilograms in pounds? 12,300 pounds. Yeah. So we are burning about 4,500. And you can see we started out with 55,000 pounds of fuel, which is what SimBrief gave us. We've now got 44,000, and we've been flying for like 3 hours. So, yeah, the fuel burn is also not correct. You can see it's going to keep saying climbing 380 because we're below 380, and it needs to. It really should correct it, but it's not. So there you go. But anyway, we're fine. We're fine. I mean, we can fly along at this altitude just fine. But I'd say aye for you. Obviously, AI can also not fly the complex airliners. You can't whip this out for the PMDG or the A310. I've seen that happen a few times. Yeah, you can't use it for the 310. It's a complex airliner in INI builds in Microsoft. So there's no way you're going to be flying the A310 with AI and everything go to plan. That's just probably not going to happen. So. So yeah, I mean that's the only reason, one of the only reasons why, if someone says, why are you choosing to even bother with the AI? Well, it's one, interesting to fly some planes that we don't have. Two, there's just been a sim update, so it's kind of interesting just to see how AI has changed if they've updated it. The sound. I already said the sound. And three, the fact that you can taxi. It does taxi you, so it's pretty cool to actually experience a bit of a taxi routing. You can see the taxiways flashing by on TFM's Find or Where My feature. You can experience how long it would take to taxi the big airport. Like yesterday on that video we were landing into Denver, you could tell it was a pretty big airport. I mean, we took 10-15 minutes taxi into the gate, and you could see it following the taxi routing that ATC had given us. So that that was all great. That's nice. If only we had an AI taxi mode for for following taxi routings that we actually wanted to follow. Because I know it's been done to actually get it to taxi the PMDG. You probably can't fly the PMDG. You might be able to taxi it with the AI. Potentially. But of course, the big problem with that is, the AI only really follows what ATC, or it essentially works in concert with default ATC. So, the taxi routings and the flight plans are all working in tandem with ATC. You couldn't, for example, say to this, okay, I want a taxi via Alpha Bravo Charlie to runway, 27, and just let it go. It has to be what ATC tells you to do. So it's not very dynamic, which is a shame because the taxi feature seems to work well. I've got to tell you. I mean, it taxis to the gate and to the runway pretty flawlessly, and that's pretty amazing to see. We don't see that every day as a blind pilot. I was able to sit in a wing view whilst we taxied out to the runway, and that's pretty nice. But, once we took off, maybe it wasn't so nice because, you know, as I said in the video yesterday, it starts behaving a bit like a whack job, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. You go, well, when you've flown the PMDG anyway, and you kind of know how an airplane should fly, LNAV, VNAV, and all this kind of stuff, you look at what it's doing, and it's like, what the hell is this? But what can you do? It's nice to fly something different. I'm not sure what centre we're on now, but there's traffic nearby, as you can see. What is that? Jet speed 461. Western Bahamas 606 is another plane we can see. American 859 we can see, and these are all real world planes. Unfortunately, as I say, we've lost the ATC responses. I can only hear my pilot for some reason, and I don't think there's a way to get it back. So I'm not sure why that keeps happening. It seems to be a bug with MSFS. So that's kind of a shame because it was nice to hear the other traffic. But maybe it's also a bit of a blessing in disguise, because if we were listening to ATC right now, all we'd be hearing is Boeing 787, climb and maintain 380, expedite climb, because we're not actually leveled out properly, are we? We're look, see, now we're at 36,875. We were at whatever 36,895, so we're just slowly drifting down. Not enough to be a problem, but just not leveled out cruise. So you can imagine if you did like a long haul with this AI, goodness knows where you'd end up. Your altitude would change pretty significantly from your cruise. So yeah, but oh well. Yeah, so there's our next waypoint. And we're actually bang on, yeah, so we're pretty much bang on the heading, so we can tell it's following the flight plan. It might start to deviate when we get onto the star because ATC may vector us. I'm also curious to see how it does into Kingston because I believe Kingston has an offset approach, which is one of the reasons I chose to fly here with it. I just to test it out. It has an offset ILS, which I've explained several times before on the channel, but it's just the idea that the localizer, which will align you with the runway center line, is not actually aligned with the center line. It's off to one side. So as a pilot, you would have to take over manually and line up with the runway at some point on the approach. But this, so this is offset. So I'm curious to see how AI does, um, you know, and it should. I don't think it actually uses the ILS signal per se, so it should be able to line us up quite nicely. We'll see. I had an interesting conversation with someone the other day talking about kind of how um, as a blind individual and within flight simulation, how you can grow a stream or a channel from zero, and also whether it's worth throwing in some other content. And the the other content thing is a matter of personal preference. I don't play that many other games, don't necessarily have time, so I don't really care to do other stuff. And I'm sure we could grow the channel way faster if I did. But here's the thing: there's, well, if you really want to grow a flight simulation channel, whether that be as a blind individual or as a sighted individual, you just have to accept that there's only so far you can grow it, and there's only so fast that you can grow it. A lot of people may not be interested in aviation, and especially within the blind community, there is a bit of a ceiling there. You can't, you're not going to get as many subs and as fast growth as you might like just by doing flight sim. But I also think what you will gain is higher quality. What I think we do well on here is, look, I'm I don't know everything there is to know about flight simming, let alone aviation. I've never claimed to, but I would hope after doing this for 4 years, I know something about what I'm talking about. So I think we do kind of explanations and kind of imparting knowledge quite well. And so that's what you have to focus on. Look at, this stream so far. There's not been a single chat message. Now, for some people, that would be a problem, and they would say, oh, there's no one in chat, there's no one responding. Well, people might be having lunch, dude. People might be, going out because it's Saturday, or people might be doing X, Y, or Z. There's not always going to be people in chat. And if you hold on to the chat as the only source, then you will struggle in the beginning, because you have to be able to speak and to entertain even when there's not many people around, because this stream could be being watched by lurkers, and it will also archive. So when it archives, people watch it back, right? And if I'm just sat here in pure silence and nothing's going on, it's not really particularly interesting to watch back. And the other thing is, do not focus on numbers. I cannot say this enough. Focusing on numbers and going on constantly about how many subs you've got, how many followers you've got, is a terrible idea. Do not do that. That is an easy path to failure. You will get very demotivated, and you will get very frustrated, and you'll feel like there's no point. It's also not a great idea, in my opinion, to set sub goals and to say, I want to hit this amount of subs. If you have that kind of a goal, that's great. I probably had those goals back in the day, but I don't think I ever really said publicly, oh, this is what I want to reach. By all means, share and tell people to share. But if your only motivation for streaming is to reach a goal of subs, or to get your chat, going with 10, 20 people in it, then you will get frustrated and tired of it very quickly. I always have said, if you can't entertain, chat, make it fun when you've got 5 subscribers, there is no point in you pushing for 100, 200, whatever, 500, however many is realistic in a flight simulation channel, and then even a blind flight simulation channel, because we are a niche within a niche. I don't think it's a good idea. Um, so it's my personal opinion on it. But I think if I came on here every stream and said, "Hey guys, you know we're at, what are we at? Let me look right now. I don't even know, but I think probably 200 and something. Yeah, 284. So if I came on, there we go, we're switching over. If I came on here every frequency, yeah, right, we're on Havana Center. If I came on here every stream and said, you know, oh, we're 284, we're going to do this when we get to 300. We've really got to get to 300 by, you know, April or May, and then when we get there, we're going to do this and this and this. I personally think that would be a really bad approach. I would much rather talk about simming and chat with you guys. And as I say, if you can't do that when you've got a small amount of people subscribed, there's no point in getting a higher amount. By all means, you know, I think it's great when people, you know, oh hey guys, don't forget to share. You know, I'm gonna publish it on Facebook and Twitter, and you know, all that kind of stuff's fantastic. But I think numbers-based approaches just leave you frustrated, and you're just constantly checking your numbers. Not what it's about. For me, and why? Because I never intend to take this into a professional level. This is, for me, it's for fun. It's like I'm going to be flying anyway, so I may as well just stream. I'm not doing this professionally, and I'm not, you know, I'm not doing it because I think I'm going to get some kind of financial gain that, you know, oh, eventually we're going to hit 1,000, 2,000 subs, and maybe I can start bringing in a tiny bit of income. That's not what I'm doing this for, and you know, I never expect that, to be honest with you. I think the only form of, you know, actual like support that people can give to this channel is through the PayPal link that Nightbot puts in the, or whatever it is that puts in the chat, which is completely voluntary. And to be honest, I get a little bit from that, but nothing major. And you know, even that like is not like it's I almost, you know, there are some streams where I think, you know, I need to actually just go in and take that out. Like I don't even want it being posted in chat, because it's sort of, it's like, you know, come support the channel, here's a PayPal link. So I don't know whether I like that, but what I think I ended up doing with that was just made it so that it would only put it in chat when there was actually like chat activity. So like now it won't put it in chat because there's not like chat's not getting spammed basically. But if it were, then it might put it in. So I kind of limited it, but even that. So yeah, there's no real gain that I expect. So ultimately, you know, you appreciate all the support and the numbers of subs, but it's a bad idea to keep looking and, you know, to expect. So there you go. That's my opinion on it. Like I say, take it or leave it. That was what came out of a conversation I was having. You know, I know it's, as I say, we are a niche within a niche. So to start up a flight sim stream when you're blind isn't the easiest. I was quite lucky when I started mine in that it was a interesting time in the world of flight sim. I guess it is now because we've got the PMDG and Microsoft, but I feel like a lot more people know about that. But what I had when I started out was a Eurofly 1 had just come out, or was pretty big in the audio games world. So what I ended up having was the whole like, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but the whole like audio games crew, coming um, to watch me play Eurofly. Um, you know, a lot of people who were also playing Eurofly. Some of them, you know, a younger audience, let's say, and that kind of thing. So that was one thing. And secondly, I had It's Your Plane finishing, and the point at which a lot of the community, kind of the main flight simulation, the blind flight simulation community, who are, kind of the hardcore simmers, were kind of going, IYP is dead. What add-ons can we use now? And so, that's when people started using FSX Pilot and eventually FS Tramp. And so all those videos of me and when Josh was doing it, all those kind of things, experimenting with these new add-ons, also drew interest from people. It was like, oh, let's go and see how he's doing it. And he's doing, nowadays it's probably a much bigger community. Well, it definitely is a much bigger community. You only have to look at, say, our WhatsApp community to tell you that. However, it's also probably a more well-known community, and also people kind of know how it's done. I'm not saying everyone knows how the PMDG is flown and how everything, but they know what it is. If someone sees me doing a video saying flying the PMDG 737, it's probably a bit more like, yeah, I know what this plane is, I know what it does, I know what what kind of things are going to be happening, etc. And so there's probably less kind of hype around it. Even though we've actually gone massively forward, there's probably a bit less kind of hype, because it's a bit more like, yeah, we know. And also, like I said, we are at 284 subscribers. If you want to look at numbers, well, as I said, there is a ceiling to. I don't know. Kind of, I'd have to look at we'd need some kind of graph of our channel's growth, but I think there is a ceiling to how much you can actually do as a channel that's purely focused around blind flight simulation. I don't know where that ceiling is. Maybe we're hitting that ceiling. Maybe it is about 300. Maybe there are about 300 active people who are really interested in this kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, that may be the case, because if you look at, say, I know this isn't kind of a be-all and end-all, but if you look at, say, the WhatsApp and the Discord, and the Discord, which of course the Discord isn't owned by me, but the WhatsApp, I think, has about 30 to 40 people in. The Discord probably has something similar, although it probably has more, although they're not all blind or visually impaired. Some of them are just, sighted people who have come in to talk about something, and people who are no longer active and have just stayed there. But, let's say for argument's sake, 100 people, right, who are either involved or tangentially involved in the blind flight simulation community. If we're now on 284, that probably tells you there's another 100, 200 people who are not necessarily involved, but are just enjoying watching aviation content, and also, just people who are maybe sighted and want to see how we fly. Maybe this is the ceiling. I don't know. I'm sure one day we'll kind of get around a number and we'll stay there, and there probably won't be that much more growth. Because as I say, it's not going to be like, you look at the sighted simmers, Captain Canada, and all these kind of people who get, I don't know what he's on now, 70,000 subscribers. Obviously, he does this professionally, and he does it for 3 days or whatever, 4 days a week. But the way he draws new people in is things like new products, new planes, new sceneries, giveaways, that kind of thing. And he keeps growing because more people came to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think we grew when people came to Microsoft Flight Sim, but on a much smaller scale. But obviously, I don't do this professionally, and never will. I hope, anyway. That would be a dark day if I had to start doing flight simulation streams professionally. And B, there's less for us to draw people in with. You know, I'm not going to buy sceneries for every flight to make my simulator look like the best it can be. Of course I'm not. What a waste of money. Why would I do that? I can't even see the thing. I'm not going to buy sceneries. And secondly, we don't have the variety of planes. You know, we fly the PMDGs. That's really the most we fly on payware. You know, when a new plane comes out, let's say the Aerosoft A330 comes out, you know, it's expected to come out in the next week. Canada and all these kind of streamers are going to get 300, 400, maybe 500 people watching them because they want to see the plane. They want to see the previews, right? We're not going to do that because we don't have the plane, and it of course for us takes a lot longer to get a payware plane, which is just a reality. So yeah, there probably is a ceiling. And as I say, I don't know where that ceiling is in terms of numbers, but honestly, I don't really care. It's not really a concern. I just stream for fun, and that's it. And if you don't do it for fun, then you're doing it wrong. Sorry. Either do it for fun or do it professionally. And as a blind flight I can pretty much guarantee you, as a blind flight simulator pilot, you are never ever going to do it professionally in terms of a stream. I would take my hat off to anyone who could earn a substantial living and do this professionally, like someone like Captain Canada, but as a blind pilot. Never going to happen. Maybe, you know, obviously there are blind streamers who stream professionally, but they do all sorts of other content, right? You know, that's how they do it. They're deep within the video game and audio game industries. They get previews, they get, you know, all this kind of stuff, and they make it their living. That's not what I'm here for, and that's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm intending to do either. Anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but it was interesting. It was. I'm not going to say it was because I don't think this person. I don't know if they actually are going to start streaming, but they were just looking for some tips on setup, and we also got into talking about kind of, you know, they just commented that they liked my streams, which I thank them for, you know, but we were also kind of talking about how to do it, how to sort of conduct yourself in a stream within blind flight simulation, because it would also be very easy to do a flight simulator stream like this and me just to sit here, right? I mean, we could do a 7-hour stream. That's great, but let's say it's just a 7-hour long haul and nothing's going on. You know, people may rightly say, what makes flight simulation streams or simulation in general interesting? You just get up to cruise and you just sit there. It's like, well, here we are just chatting. We've got music going. Sometimes I'm on VATSIM. That's a massive part. Sometimes I'm on Team Talk. That's a massive part. If people are in chat, then that interaction helps for sure. You know, and this, you know, I think it's quite relaxed. You know, this is not a FPS stream where I'm yelling at people. You know, and we're trying to take people out on some audio game. You know, this is not like the old days of a red spot stream or a we used to do that. We used to do red spot streams, and also I don't know if I ever did a stream of this, or maybe a few times, but Undead Assault. You know, those were the days, I tell you. Those were good sessions of initially it was just red spot, but Undead Assault with some buddies. You know, we'd get on Undead Assault. It was like, you know, a couple of hours just firing off. That'd be good. It was mainly during COVID as well. You know, everyone had a bit of pent up frustration then. Like, get on the Undead Assault, fire off some bullets in the arena, and then off you go. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. As I say, take it or leave it. I'm sure people will disagree, but you run your stream how you want to run it. You know, that's what it is. Right. Does anyone want a drink as well? Anyone want some tea? Well, I'd send you some, but it's only 2023. It's not 2123 or 2223, because if it was, maybe I could just send you some. Not today.
Next waypoint, Neptune, distance 52 nautical miles, bearing 190 degrees 6 minutes, 39 seconds. Cuba, 9.6 nautical miles, 225 degrees, Cuba Standard Time.
Hooker Kyar. MO1 there?
Hey Yuga, I don't know why I didn't read your first message to say hi on the text to speech, but yeah, hello, welcome. What are your plans on this Saturday evening?
Columbia LAX 10 is Cuba, 0.7 nautical miles, 151 degrees.
So we're currently over Cuba still. Interesting place for ATC Cuba. They do have ATC on Batson quite a bit actually. They do the Havana event on Sundays. We actually did that as a BVI event at some point. So.
Ugur Khair. It's Ramadan on these times. We ate some hours ago. Very nice feeling.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. I can imagine. The relief of being able to finally get something to eat, but what time is it over there? Actually, the clocks go forward this evening in the UK. Well, not this evening, but during the night anyway. It's like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or something. They go forward, which means you wake up at 9 a.m. or whatever, and it's actually 10 a.m. and that's just irritating because you've lost another hour in a day.
Gaming tech and more. Hi, this is Ruben from the beginners group.
Hey Ruben. I was wondering who that was. Gaming, tech, and more. Is that your YouTube channel? Do you have a channel, or is that just your just like your username in general? This thing is very quiet, isn't it? I don't hear much of the engines at all, even on the inside. Look. Yeah. I suppose it is a 787. They don't call it the Dreamliner for nothing. Look at this. This AI co-pilot is still asleep though, he's just letting us drift down. We're now at 36,885. We should be at 38,000, but we've just slowly been drifting down.
Ugur Khair.
I mean,
Well,
AI
here
pilot.
in Germany you can eat from 4:35 a.m. and you break your fasting on 7 p.m. Such a relief.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah, so... Because it's now... It's now 5 to 8 here, so yeah, I guess you were able to break your fast at about a couple hours ago, right? Because Germany's an hour ahead. Oh wait, I wonder if Germany's clocks are going forward. It's kind of annoying because UK time right now matches Zulu time as well, which is obviously the aviation time, but as of tomorrow, it won't, which is rather annoying. Probably not something they were considering when they invented the system, given that it was done back in the day for daylight, farmers, and all that good stuff.
Gaming tech and more. I used to have a channel where I streamed audio games and made tech tutorials, but I got rid of it and I just haven't got round to changing the name yet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, makes sense. No, I just wondered because it sounded like more of a channel name. Interesting. This music had better not be copyright. I don't think it is. At least the video I put up yesterday using the same playlist didn't get removed. It's fine. The worst they ever do is just... They don't even remove videos anymore, actually. They just tend to put the links to the songs in the description.
Hooger Kyar. Oh yes. Can I ask some general questions about TFM, FSX and P3D, or is there no time left anymore?
No, feel free to go ahead. We're still cruising along. I'm not really doing anything anyway. All down to this whack job AI co-pilot that's supposed to be controlling this plane, but doesn't do a very good job of it. But as long as he gets us to the runway, or no, I should say they get us to the runway, right? Otherwise, they're going to get crucified.
Gaming tech and more.
They get us to the runway.
Is this the PMDG 787?
No, it's not, Ruben. They don't make a 787, unfortunately. This is just the default Microsoft 787. Just fancied flying something a bit different other than the 737s and 47s and triples. So we're flying the 787 with the AI co-pilot mode, which is interesting to say the least. He doesn't do the best job, but you know, it should get us on the ground anyway.
Donations are not necessary, but if you would like to support the stream in any way, visit https://www.paypal.me/vipalots.
AP altitude 28,051 feet.
Oh, here we go, guys. We're going down. Flight level 280 now, apparently.
Feet.
So we're heading into Kingston, Jamaica. I think if we wanted the touristy place, we should have gone to Montego Bay. I think that's a nicer place to go to than Kingston, but kind of want to test out the AI skill here and landing at a pretty tricky airport, Kingston. So yeah, we'll just see.
33,000 feet.
I mean, he's descending fine. See here, he did this yesterday, so this co-pilot just decides he's gonna bomb it down at 4,000 feet a minute. He also, the speed is also going like crazy, so he really needs to control the speed. But yeah, we should be good. Should be alright. Let's see, what view do we want on landing? Don't know what we'll do. See if we can do a wing view.
Gaming tech and more. Currently, I'm flying freeware aircraft in P3D with FS Tramp. I have plans to get the PMDG 737 at some point in the near future.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, you'll enjoy that. I mean, Tramp still does the job, and I know some people still recommend, Tramp as a starter program, but whenever like a new person comes in now, I just tell them go straight to PMDG if you can afford it, because, the way Tramp does things, I mean, it was a great program and it still is, but it was a bit weird, you know. It tried to simulate LNAV, VNAV, all those kind of things. It didn't do it the best. So, but I mean, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you're able to do some flights and even now use the free airplane.
Next waypoint, Braddock, distance 74 nautical miles, bearing 161 degrees 9 minutes 12 seconds.
So hopefully we're going to be able to land and then taxi into a gate here at Kingston, which will be new. That's something we don't normally do on the channel. We can't taxi, just reposition, but the AI co-pilot can taxi. So it's going to follow ATC instructions and hopefully get us to a gate. I think we're just leveled out here for a second. Yeah, looks like it. So that's where we're at. It's the cockpit. As you can see, our call sign is also very conveniently Boeing 787, which is kind of hilarious. I can probably go in somewhere and change that and call it, get it to call us Vision or BVI or something instead of Boeing 787. But whatever.
Hooger Kyar. Oh cool. Well, to be honest, I only flew with Eurofly, which is maybe good to get an idea what flying is, but it's not really realistic in simming, I think. I want to fly a real flight simulator.
Let me just jump on the team talk here, guys, because I just need to speak to Marshall about something. Alright, I'm there. You're just live on stream, so I think they can hear you. But anyway, yeah, CTP slot, so there's no Dublin to Toronto.
No.
Wank, dude.
Nothing out of Dublin.
Shit. Is there anything into Toronto? If you filter by arrival?
I'm just having a look.
Okay. I mean, if push comes to shove, just get what you can for now, so at least you can do it. And then when people start or not confirming their slots or releasing the rest of them on Monday or whatever, then maybe you'll be able to grab one.
Toronto's only got Istanbul. And
Hooger Kyar. Which sim do you recommend for beginners?
Atlanta's got
FSX or P3D?
Vienna, Istanbul. loads of Viennas. Madrid. Vienna. Madrid.
You might have to get a Vienna one then.
Yeah, let's go for Vienna.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it'll do. I mean, like I say, you can always change it out. If a better one comes up, then just nab it, obviously, during the week. It's alright, guys, on the stream, we're just sorting out Cross the Pond slots for next Saturday. There's a big VATS event called Cross the Pond, where this time we're flying from Europe to the US, and, well, not just the US, Canada and Caribbean, but across the Atlantic. But you have to get slots, so we were just looking what's available. Let me just catch up with you. You want to fly a real flight simulator? Which flight sim do I recommend? FSX or P3D for beginners? Definitely not FSX. That's very outdated. It's really a toss-up between P3D or Microsoft Flight Simulator. When I say Microsoft Flight Simulator, I mean the new 2020 one, not the old FSX one. It depends on a bunch of factors, to be honest with you. It depends on how powerful your computer is. It depends on if you want to fly airliners or general aviation planes like Cessnas, or whether you want to go into the 737s, whatever, you know, airliners basically. Those two questions would really decide which simulator you want to get. Oh, and also how much money you want to spend on it. You know. So like, for example, P3D is great for lower end computers. It can run on pretty much anything really well. You've got a lot of payware airliners. You've got the 737s, 47s and 777s. However, it's also it's quite a bit of money for all of that, and some of the other add-ons that you have to get for P3D are more money. Microsoft, on the other hand, more intensive simulator. So if you haven't got a good PC with a good graphics card, okay, great. If you haven't got a good PC with a good graphics card, you're going to struggle with Microsoft. It doesn't have as many airplanes at the moment, so right now we only have the PMDG-737 lineup. As you can see, we're flying a different airplane. We're flying a 787, but we're just flying it with the AI co-pilot, and that isn't really very realistic. It's kind of shit, to be honest. So I wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to promote that necessarily. I mean, it works to get you from A to B, but it's not very good. So you've only got the 737s, so you've got less planes, but it's less money, right, as well, because a lot more things come with Microsoft. So real weather comes with Microsoft. You can also buy Microsoft for cheaper than P3D, because you can use Game Pass to get Microsoft Flight Simulator. And yeah, you don't need a weather add-on, and you can get cheaper planes as well. So for example, for Microsoft, you can buy a PMDG 737 600 variant for $35. So it's cheaper. So there's a lot of considerations, but they're both good simulators still. So you got Vienna to Atlanta, Marshall?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What slot time did you get?
12:52.
Yeah, okay. We've got to see if we can get you a better slot, I think, from somewhere a bit closer. We'll see.
Yeah, I might ditch this one, to be honest, once the lottery's up.
If you go on the Discord, there's probably going to be a trading channel, so you could always put in there, you know, look, I'm looking for something to Atlanta, like an East Mids or a Dublin, and you might get somebody saying, you know, yeah, we'll trade with you for your Vienna one, you know, because
Yeah, I'll take a look. I've just got to nip downstairs for a second, so...
yeah, I mean, they won't
me
be doing
later.
it now, but over next week.
173 yes. Distance
Yeah,
55 miles.
alright.
174 degrees 6 minutes 30 seconds. AP altitude 21,982
Be about
feet.
10
AP altitude
minutes.
11,975 feet. AP altitude
Yeah.
1,577 feet.
Just got to finish one thing.
Right, we're coming down 5,500 feet. Apparently we're going to be taking the VOR DME approach, runway 12, which is not an approach I would have chosen, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure runway 12 does have an ILS, even though it's offset. But there you go. That's apparently what we're doing. So in AI we trust very little, but we don't have much of a choice. So buckle up, folks. It might be a rough ride, because you've not got your trusty captain flying you today. You've got your rookie first officer co-pilot,
Gaming tech and more.
and he is not trustworthy.
Also, I've just purchased Active Sky for P3D5, so I will have real-world weather after I get some help on the inaccessible account creation dialog.
Okay, Ruben, yeah. But yeah, that'll be a good one for you, yeah.
25,000 feet.
I still find it pretty hilarious that, you know, a simulator like P3D doesn't come with weather, and it also doesn't come with, so P3D has this stupid thing where it doesn't hold the time in the simulator correctly, which is a real problem for oceanic flights, because what happens is it loses time slowly, so you end up, like, the time in the simulator doesn't match real world time. You know, it ends up being like, you know, 30 minutes behind or whatever, so you have to get an add-on to sync the real time in P3D. Just some things in P3D that you have to get add-ons for, and it's like, this really shouldn't need an add-on. It should just come with the simulator. But, you know, Active Sky is a great add-on, and yeah, generally anyway. So, one of the best for weather.
23,000 feet.
We've had some issues with it in the past, being a bit weird, as you've found. Yeah, accessibility is not the best, and sometimes it can go a bit overboard on the turbulence and stuff like that, and, you know, send your plane for a bit of a aerobatic show. But you know, it's a very reputable product. Right, anyway, we are coming down here. Let's see.
Minus 1998 feet behind it.
Yeah.
329 knots indicated.
Well, we're looking alright. It's going to have to reduce that speed at some point, but knowing this thing is going to come in stupid fast and then just throw out everything it's got. Flaps geared a lot just to slow down. Which is pretty ridiculous. That's not really how you're supposed to fly. You're supposed to, you know, get your speed low enough and then start gradually bringing out the flaps, but this AI co-pilot does not care about the rules. That's what we've learned.
21,000 feet.
Hooger Kyar. Well, I have a Surface Laptop 4, which has a 512 GB SSD, 16 GB RAM and i7 processor, 11 Gen, and an Intel graphic on board. No money issues, I've a regular job, so I've solid budget.
Feet.
Oh yeah, that's good then. So you could probably run either simulator, really. I guess it depends. Do you know kind of where your interest lies in flying? Do you just want to kind of have a bit of a joyride in a smaller airplane, or do you kind of want to get to the point where you're able to fly the airliners and, you know, program the FMC and all this kind of stuff?
19,000 feet.
Like I say, at the moment P3D does have more payware airliners that we can access. They are coming to Microsoft slowly. We only have the 777, but soon, sorry, the 737, but soon Microsoft is going to have the 777, and eventually the 747 as well. So then we'll have all the PMDG planes. So Microsoft's a great sim for the future, But I mean, right now it's maybe not quite there yet.
Time to destination 11 minutes 25 seconds. BDI pilot slash 2 1 2 TFS Airlines 1 4 Many just
Oh,
many just
music stopped.
aliens with relaxing challenges and rain sounds heading level 3. Visit.
I don't know. Put another playlist on, whatever.
Microsoft.
Tower on 118.6
17,000 feet.
787.
Com 118.65.
Tower Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 9er miles west inbound for DME runway 12 approach. Clear to land runway 12 Boeing 787.
16,000 feet.
Right, well, let's see how it's going to handle this. I have a feeling it's going to have to do a missed approach and come back around. Because it looks way too high for me.
Overspeed warning. 294 knots indicated.
Yeah, we're not overspeeding, dude.
Overspeed warning. 285 knots indicated. Minus 4,090 feet per minute.
Because
14,434 feet.
we were 14,000 feet, so it's a little bit too high. So I have a feeling it's going to
Microsoft Flight Simulator 131220.
it's going to have to come back in here.
269 knots indicated. Overspeed warning. Overspeed warning. Flat 17.
Oh, it's the flaps that are overspeeding. Ah.
Overspeed warning. 13,000 feet.
Oh my god.
Overspeed warning.
This thing is wacko, dude.
151 knots indicated.
Huh. It's just tried to put the flaps out at like 260 knots. Unbelievable. Okay, well, let's see what happens and see if we can get it landed. I'm not expecting much.
Overspeed warning.
Oh, shut up.
245 knots indicated. Possible danger flight simulator. TFM. Overspeed. TFM muted. 11,000 feet.
So if we mute TFM, we're not overspeeding, right? Because nothing's telling us we're overspeeding, so we're not overspeeding. It's fine. Shh. You didn't hear that. It's fine. Shh. What are you doing,
Gaming
co-pilot?
tech and more.
What are you doing?
I will be flying to Cyprus in 2 weeks' time with TUI. The last time I took this flight I got a 757-200, so hopefully I get lucky again.
Ooh, very nice, yeah. Hopefully you don't get a 738 or something. That wouldn't be great, would it? Put you on that for that long of a flight. We usually do Gran Canaria or Greece or something like that. And yeah, all of ours are generally 737s, like, you know, Jet2, Ryanair or whatever.
Wow. I think airliners and programming the FMC are sounding interesting for me. A little question if you allow, why only planes from Boeing? Where are the Airbus planes?
We just haven't got access to the payware Airbuses yet. We hope to in the future, but TFM doesn't have access to them yet, or TFM hasn't, got access set up with those planes yet. So currently, right now, we only have the PMDG lineup of planes, and they happen to just make Boeing. So yeah, maybe P3D version 5 would be a good simulator for you right now, anyway.
5,000 feet.
Oh, we are coming down uber fast.
4,050 feet per minute.
Look at that, 4,000.
242 knots indicated.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it, dude. You got to get down. You were super high. Right. Pause the music and see what he's gonna do.
4,000 feet.
Hopefully, he's gonna level out
247 knots indicated.
or slow down, or
Gear up.
gears still up.
17.
Flaps are out, which is interesting. Yeah. What are you gonna do, co-pilot? How are you gonna fix your
Minus 3,911 feet per minute.
stupid mistakes?
246 knots minus 3,937 feet per
So
minute.
far, he's just gonna nosedive us into the ground. So let's hope he's gonna change that.
2,407 feet. 248 knots minus 3,934 feet per minute.
Because yeah, I'm a bit worried here. You kind of got to slow down, dude. And
Minus 4,065 feet. 1938 feet ATL.
yeah, you gotta stop nosediving into the ground.
Minus 4,075 feet per minute.
Oh, here we go. Landing gear down.
Minus 535 feet per minute.
Please stop.
234 knots indicated.
Okay.
276 feet per minute.
Oh, hello.
Minus 3 feet per minute.
Okay. We've actually stopped with the crazy dive.
112 feet per minute.
We've leveled off.
1,405 feet ATL.
Okay.
200 knots indicated.
Here we go, coming through 200 knots. You're either going to see an epic fail, or you're going to see a big success. Ooh, what a view that is. That's a nice landing view. Leave it on that view. I think that's the cabin view. Might be behind the wings. Hell yeah. That's nice. Right, we're just sat here taking a bit of a joyride. Looks like we're making a right-hand turn. And we're slowed down nicely, so let's get lined up with runway 12. See if we can put this thing on the damn ground. Alright. Nice. Oh, you're still going right. Oh, wow. We're making a big right turn. Okay. Alright. Gears down. Flaps are full, I think. Speed is looking good. Alright. We just need to
Gaming tech and more.
make a bit of a
I used
turn.
to really enjoy Monarch Airlines.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
quite a few A321 with IAEs.
They did, yeah.
Also, they used to have these really nice cloth seats.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is said. To be honest, I love the Airbus engines, especially from the A320neo or the A350.
Oh, yeah, those things are quiet, man. Yeah, really, really quiet. But yeah, Monarch and the A3 and their Airbus fleet. Yeah. We actually had a flight booked with them. It might have been to Gran Canaria when they went under, and then, yeah. Them and, used to fly with them and Thomas Cook all the time. But yeah, I know what you mean about those Monarch seats. They were nice. Oh, what are we doing, dude? Oh, here we go. I think we're coming in. We turn on the GPWS. Cockpit is so quiet, look at that. So quiet. I think we want this view, right? This is a nice view. Taking us down into Jamaica. Alright, we're looking good. Looking lined up. Speed is looking alright. Such a quiet plane.
Donations are not necessary, but if you would like to support the stream in any way, visit https://www.paypal.me/vipalots.
Oh.
800.
I wondered why we weren't getting any call outs. No wonder. I muted TFM.
200.
Right, here we go.
Gaming tech and more.
Get ready.
Ah yes, those Thomas Cook 757s.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
On ground. 120 knots.
10.
90 knots.
Ooh.
59 knots.
Alright.
38 knots. 41 knots. 30 knots.
Well, we're down.
26
Don't know
knots.
whether we were bang on the center line there, but we're down
30 knots.
anyway. There go the flaps
19
coming up.
knots.
What was our landing rate? Oh, negative 349. Alright. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. I don't know what happened.
17 knots.
TFM's call outs are always kind of funny.
19
We
knots.
get a
19 knots.
10 right after we touch down.
18 knots.
Great views though, I gotta say.
Knots.
Hooger Kyar.
15
Well,
knots.
as a beginner, you said a short while ago
12 knots.
that TFM will get
Yeah.
FS Officer Pro
11
features.
I finished running
Should
around
I
like
wait
a
till
dervish
it's
for
released,
tonight.
or will it take a while and I should purchase it?
Hold on one sec.
11 knots.
It will get first officer features, absolutely. I couldn't give you a timeline. that would be for TFM developers. But I think they would hope that it might be there might be something available kind of in the summer, but that will be for them to say. Should you wait? It's a good question. I mean, if you can hold on, yeah, maybe. It's not that expensive, to be honest with you. So if you do end up buying First Officer, um, I don't think First Officer Pro is a very good investment. So First Officer Next is the one for Microsoft. That might be a slightly better investment because at least that will work with new planes in the future. Whereas the Pro one he's no longer working on. So I would just say, I don't know. It's a really difficult one because we are kind of in an in-between moment right now where Microsoft is not quite ready with all the planes, but it's also it's usable, but it's not quite ready. Whereas P3D is ready, obviously, and has been a good stable sim for like 2 years, 3 years. But it's also at that point where P3D is not very future proof. It's great in the here and now, but in a few years, it's probably not going to be very, you know, it's not going to be the greatest thing. So it's a really difficult one to tell you what to buy. I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but I would say if you can wait a little bit, that's probably a good solution. Just wait and see how things play out, and then you can probably make a more informed choice about which simulator you want. But yeah, here we go. We're on Taxiway Alpha. We seem to be just holding position. But anyway, this is finished by the looks of it. So I think I can end this flight. Let's try it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there we go. Submit that flight. So yeah, he did an alright job. Sure was interesting. Yeah.
How did the whack job do?
He got himself way too high. He was like 15,000 feet at 9 miles. He did a fighter jet style approach. Pulled us out after a 5,000 FPM dive at about 1,000 feet. Pulled us out, stabilized us, and somehow plonked us down. After overspeeding. Oh, and he also put out flaps and gear at 200. No, not gear, but flaps at like 280 knots to try and slow himself down. Yeah. Right, we've got a bunch of airplanes here. I don't know if we're waiting for. I don't know if we're just holding position or what. Yeah, it was pretty unique. Yeah.
I have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, yeah, he got us landed, I gotta say. I mean, credit where credit's due, but I'm not sure it was entirely, what was supposed to happen. Are we gonna get taxi here, dude, or what? I don't even think it. No, let's give it a minute. Maybe we're just holding position. We are just sat on a taxiway. On Taxiway Alpha right now. So yeah. Let me just. I wonder if I can just recycle AI. Will it do anything? I don't know.
Gaming tech and more.
Well, let me guess now.
If he can correct himself like that, maybe he's not that bad of a pilot after all. LOL.
Probably. Yeah, that's true, Ruben. I mean, I wish if he was a good pilot, he probably wouldn't get himself into that position in the first place. Because I can tell you what, if you were on board that airplane as a real passenger and he was doing that, well, you'd probably be feeling pretty unwell by this point. Because that was not a stable approach at all. I think if a real airline saw that, they'd be booting him right back out the door. But anyway, I mean, yeah, We did the fighter jet style approach, and we landed in Jamaica, and now we're just not doing much. I don't know what we're waiting for here. Whether there's some plane. This in front of us.
Microsoft Flight Simulator 1. Zero knots ground speed. Dot.
I'm just going to give it a minute. If it doesn't do anything, then we'll just spawn to a gate, because I've already submitted my flight to FS Airlines. Let me check if it's actually submitted. But I think it did. So as long as that's submitted, then that's really all we care. Yeah, it's given us.
Well,
it's submitted
I have no
it.
issues to wait for a little while.
Given us
Why
a
to purchase
100%
Officer
rating.
Pro when it eventually unnecessary? Question: why it's needed? Sighted users are programming everything themselves?
Yeah, as if.
Yeah. Why is first officer needed? Well, it's needed because, first off, it's not needed. You don't need first officer. You can use, at least not for the 737. You now have the ability, and this was very recent through TFM, to access all the panels yourself. So we already did the FMC all by ourselves, but now you can access all the panels and you can flick every switch to get the airplane set up. It is needed because the 747 and the 777 do not have full TFM support. So whilst you can access the FMC, you can't access all the panels, right? So you need it for that. That's why most people used it. The other thing is, even when you have all the panels, there's a difference between being sighted and just being able to skim a mouse over a cockpit and click all the relevant stuff, to going through very extensive tree views with a screen reader to find the switches you need. So it will take a lot longer, probably, for a blind person to set up everything. And so a lot of people use first officer to do some of the panels whilst they do the FMC. And that can be especially useful when you're on something like the VATSIM network with real ATC, because if you were doing panels, as in setting up all the systems, FMC and VATSIM and everything, it would probably get very overwhelming.
It gets too much.
Yeah, it would probably get too much with the screen reader. However, having said that, it's not just blind people who use it. Sighted people use first officer significantly, and there's many other programs that do similar things. Multi-crew experience is a similar program. FS, I forget what the other one's called. Might be FS Captain or something like that.
FS2 crew.
FS2 crew is that was another one. Yeah, so there's various programs that do similar things that sighted people use. So it's definitely not just a program for blind individuals. A lot of sighted real world pilots use those kind of programs because they feel that it increases their levels of realism to have a co-pilot performing the flows that they would normally perform in the cockpit when they're actually on duty as a captain or whatever they are, first officer or captain. So A, it's useful, and B, it's actually in many ways more realistic to have another member of the cockpit helping you out, because of course in real life no one pilot would ever fly a 737 or whatever it may be. This idiot's just clocked off. I don't know, maybe we only paid him for so many hours and then he gave up, but he's just plonked us on taxiway alpha and he's not doing nothing. So we're just gonna set this up here, MKJS. We're just gonna go find a gate and we're just gonna reposition. That's a shame. I wanted to show you the taxi, but if you want to see that, go on to yesterday's video. I don't know why the idiot decided not to taxi, but yeah, like I say, clearly he's just had enough. Anyway, engines off. Bye bye.
Gaming tech and more.
We're done.
About the AICO pilot. He is just a really great pilot who just disregards all safety procedures due to his huge amount of arrogance.
Yeah, he's a really arrogant pilot, isn't he? that must be what's happened. You know, he's just like, well, I just want to test myself, so I'm just going to put myself at like 15,000 feet at 10 miles out, and then I'm going to absolutely nosedive into the ground, and then at the last second, I'm going to pull up and see what happens. It was probably I don't want to know how many G's this thing was pulling when he did that. That was crazy, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We really need to. We really need to.
Engine 1, 0
Is
0
there
10
even a
tons.
G
Engine 2, 0
meter
0
in
10 2
that
tons.
thing?
I don't
Can
think
somebody
so.
look at the G meter on the post production?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it didn't seem very legit to me. But you know, I mean, he got us on the ground, and we got an okay landing. So you know, it was acceptable. Um, you know, credit where credit is due. At least we could submit the flight. I wouldn't say it was a textbook flight or that you should follow his lead, to be honest. But there we go. We made it from Newark to Kingston, and he managed to pull it all off supposedly during a VOR DME approach. Um, I don't really believe he did the VOR DME. He did the cowboy approach. That's all he did. He did the what the
Yeah,
hell are you doing approach.
he
But
did the cowboy visual
the
approach.
cowboy visual nosedive approach, yeah, that's all that was. But anyway, well, what can you do? So yeah, there we go. How much fuel did we land with as well?
39,200.
Togger
Yeah,
Kayar.
39.2.
Okay,
So
I understand. Thanks for Marshall and you for the detailed answer.
we've only burned
Is
about
the PMDG
15,000 pounds of fuel,
737
which is
to 800
ridiculous.
a good beginner plane?
Yes, it's a great
Yeah,
beginner
as if
plane. Yeah,
that's ever gonna happen.
I know, right? Yeah, a great beginner plane. That's what I'd recommend. Any of the 737s are great. But yeah, starting out on the 738
197 degrees.
is a good idea.
Yeah, I started out on the 738.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did it on my system, I crashed
Just
it
runway, airport code
because my
39.
controls were completely out of whack on that laptop.
Runways at 13, 12 in use. No.
Let's go back to the
Microsoft
runway,
Flight Simulator.
shall we? Let's go to runway 12 and listen to some planes taking off and landing for a minute. Why not? Do a bit of plane spotting. It's a shame we've got no ATC, but
Green light, no traffic available. 4 Mike Alpha ambience with relaxing jazz music and rain sound.
that sounds like waves, doesn't it? Sounds like sea waves. I don't think there are any planes coming in right now, actually. Oh, no, maybe there are. Here we go.
Ground traffic list, American 1400, state, en route, distance 24, altitude 11,937.
There's an American coming in.
American 13,237, state, en route,
Ooh, Speedbird
American 13,237, state,
2237.
American 13,237, state, en route, distance 33, altitude 34,000, speed 132,202.
That's interesting. He must be coming from Heathrow. Wow, you can really hear the ocean here. Is this airport by the ocean? Let's have a look. Oh, it's the Caribbean Sea. There you go, guys. Wow, that's MSFS for you. It's located on the something something in the Kingston. However, it is. It fronts the city on one side and the Caribbean Sea on the other. So we're sat here on runway 12, and we can actually hear the Caribbean Sea. It's a wonder, you know, that this idiot co-pilot didn't run off the runway and into the blooming Caribbean Sea. We're actually quite lucky. I'm surprised he didn't just
Yeah.
take us out for a swim or something. That would have been more likely.
Yeah.
I want to see if we can get some planes, but I'm not sure how.
American 1400, take en route, distance 18, altitude 9524, speed American 1400, take
Well,
en
there
route,
is an
distance 18, altitude
American.
9524, speed 25102,
He looks like he's
speed
coming
American
here.
1400, take en route, distance 18,
American
altitude 9524, speed
1400.
25102.
Let's have a look, shall we? We can actually have a look on flight radar. Who these or flight aware or whatever, who these planes are, because they should be real world. So let's see if they're actually coming from where they're coming from, shall we? So we got American 1400 is apparently turning up. Yep, so he is a 737 coming from Miami. And then we had Speedbird 2237. What's the betting they're coming from Heathrow?
Hooger Kyar. Do you know that TFM has Braille display support? I love it to observe some relevant things on a display. I get a more realistic feeling with it.
See if we can see the American land. Just trying to look up the 22 Speedbird 2237. Oh no, he's not coming here. They're going over from London to San Jose in a 777. Interesting.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, nearby aircraft dialog, tab list.
No one on the ground. I can just see the American. Let's see if we can see American land, and then we'll probably call it a day. Let me check. Looks like he's the only one coming in. Do I know that TFM has Braille displays? But yes, I do. Yeah, I don't use it personally, but I do know a couple people who do, and yeah, it's a really cool feature.
We're just coming through 160 actually.
Hopefully, you're not 10 miles out.
No, we're not. We're 90 out.
Yeah, that just shows you how wacko this thing was.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch
Nearby
that.
aircraft dialog, tab control, ramp tab.
Yeah.
List, ramp tab list, American 1400, take en route, distance 13, altitude 2579, speed 25102.
American is now 13
Gaming
miles
tech and
out.
more. You might have to wait a while to see this plane land, as the pilot might be doing stupid and unnecessary things like obeying safety procedures.
Microsoft.
Yeah, probably. Why is this plane coming in at no, he's now flying away now, but why is he at 2,300 feet? I think he should be at like 16,000 feet, and then he can do a nosedive approach. Yeah. What is he
Yeah.
doing? What is this whole low and slow approach thing? What a load of rubbish. I don't know. Maybe he can't land if I'm sat on the runway. Don't know. Don't know how logical these AI planes are. Oh no, maybe he's coming in. Maybe he's coming. He's 14 miles now.
I seriously don't get how you did that without getting an overspeed.
Oh, the plane gave us an overspeed. But it wasn't actually the plane
Yeah.
overspeeding, it oversped the flaps. That's what it did. It probably busted all our flaps.
Yeah.
Because it put them out at like, it just went flaps full at 280 knots to slow down.
Yeah, so your flaps are bust.
Probably. We ain't going nowhere. Busted flaps.
Please, nearby aircraft dialog, tab control, ramp selected. List. Ramp select list, American 1400, take en route, distance 10, altitude 1438.
Here we go. 10 miles now. See if we can get the landing. From Miami. I think I might better hear the 737 coming. Kind of difficult to know because you've got these waves going as well.
Hooger Kyar. Oh great, this is very good news. I'm so much delighted to practice real flying and finally fly on VATSIM and get in connection with ATC.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just takes time, but
Please, nearby aircraft dialog, tab control, ramp selected.
sure,
Ramp select, tab.
keep at it and it's
List,
possible.
American 1 selected.
Which
Okay,
is
tab
always
control,
great.
list, American 1400, take en route, distance 5, altitude 892, speed, Microsoft.
Here we go. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Here comes the 737. Don't put it down in the ocean there.
Portwell, Kingston, Jamaica, 2.4 nautical miles, 274 degrees, Caribbean Sea.
You'll know when he's landing. Here we go.
Nightbed. Donations are not necessary, but if you would like to support the stream in any way, visit https://www.paypal.me/kickalocks.
Whoa!
That's what it sounds like to stand on a runway while a 737 flies over your head. Very nice. Nice landing. You didn't go into the sea. We didn't hear a splash. I would assume he's on the. I would assume he landed.
Ramp list, American 1400, take en
Yeah.
route, distance 2, altitude 1397, speed 250 knots, selected 1 of 1, selected.
Nice. Oh, maybe he's gone around. I think he's gone around.
Microsoft flight.
I think he flew over the top of us because I don't see him on the ground. I think he saw. I think because our plane's positioned on the runway, he couldn't land, so he actually went around or something.
Nearby aircraft dialog,
That's
tab control,
hilarious.
ramp select list.
Oh wow.
Ramp select list,
Because
American
he's
1400,
now
take en
flying
route,
away
distance 2,
again.
1646, speed
He's
250
climbing
knots,
out. So he literally flew over the top of us and then did a go around. That's hilarious. Wow, that's why it was so loud.
Microsoft.
I think that's him going over the top of the airport again. Well, buddy, you're going to have to come round for attempt number 2 and hope we're off the runway by then.
Runway 12
Just sit on the runway and make everyone do go around. That's great.
Ramp list, American 1400, take en route, distance 2, altitude 1981, speed 250 knots, selected 1 of 1, selected.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it. He's
Gaming
not
tech
going to
and
land,
more.
I don't think, anyway.
Wow, is that the default sound? That sounded good.
Oh yeah, and it's actually a sound package from Microsoft, Ruben. It is a default it is a sound package mod, but yeah, that was great seeing that plane go over us. Anyway, yeah, I guess we'd better end it there, and I'd better close this sim, otherwise this AI pilot's never going to be able to land. Um, so it's kind of funny because it tries to mirror what the real world plane is doing. So probably the real world plane has now landed though, but this AI mirror plane has
Hooker
had to go
Kyar.
around.
I
So
saw your info video for blind pilots
Yeah.
on VATSIM. Do you think the Frankfurt ATC are handling blind pilots professionally?
yeah, Frankfurt ATC is great. Yeah, we have no issue with Frankfurt ATC to be honest with you. It's some of the best on VATSIM. Really, really good. For sure. So yeah.
Please nearby aircraft list. Ground time list. American 1400. State en route. Distance 7. Altitude 2008
They
miles.
always do a great job of getting us out. Anyway, that's going to do it. There's no other planes coming in. There's just this American guy, and he's going around for attempt number 2. So yeah, yeah, fun little stream there. Interesting showcase of the AI, and thanks both of you in chat. You know, and the interactions, and yeah, I don't know when we'll be back, but some point soon. Keep an eye out. And you know, best of luck on you know the simulator advancements that you know you're both trying to look into for the future. You know, I know you're in the group anyway, Ruben. So the WhatsApp, so we help out with any of that. Yeah, pretty cool. We got to see an American go around too. So just about made it safely down on the ground in Kingston. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you all